moving on, we've got a little bit of headway, maybe, with the next Spider-Man film. Ooh. I have been so excited about this. There is a script, but according to Variety and Tom Holland and Zendaya, it needs some work. So this is our kind of big through line.
And that's how that's the expression he gave to the writer right there.
He looked at Kevin Feige and went,
"This needs to work."
Hey, buddy. So it has been reported that Tom Holland recently got to read the first draft of the script for his fourth Spider-Man movie and just thinks that even though the writers did a good job, it still needs some work. He said, quote, and this was on the Ritual podcast, one of the things in that with Marvel, your film is a small cog in a large machine. Holland said about Spider-Man 4 development, that machine has got to keep running. You have to make sure you can fit into that timeline at the right time to benefit the bigger picture. That's one of the challenges we're facing. The time in which we need to get that done is a tall order, but definitely achievable with the people we have working on it now. We have a creative and we have a pitch and a draft, which is excellent, Holland added. It needs work, but the writers are doing a great job. I read it 3 weeks ago and it really lit a fire in me. Zendaya and I sat down and read it together and we at times were bouncing around the living room like this is a real movie worthy of fans' respect.
Right.
All right. Well, that's a great place to start, I feel.
Yeah. And when you read that in its totality, it's like these guys are amazing. What we have to do is almost Herculean. And, they're doing their best job. It's coming around and needs some work still. Here's what headlines are. Tom Holland says script needs work.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's pompous, or this is a red flag.
Yeah.
Or
well, and this is why everyone always needs to read a full article. Don't just be that person who perpetuates headlines.
This is why I think he should have said it's coming along, as opposed to it needs work, because at this point in his stage in his career, people are going to pounce on that.
Oh yeah. Well, he actually recently talked about this too. He strategically has not been doing a lot of interviews and things like that, a lot of press, because he and Robert Downey Jr. are really good friends, and he knew about him being Doom, and he thought he'd ruin it. It's like, I'm so famous for ruining Marvel secrets. I just needed to not be anywhere near the press during this.
Yeah.
So he does have to do some mental gymnastics when he's talking about these things, because everything does get clipped out, or everything then can become a theory.
Right.
But I think, though, to your point, once you read the entire statement, it's, hey, yeah, we're doing some great work. This is a draft. We really like where it's going, but we need to keep pushing forward so we can have a wonderful, perfect story. Mm-hmm. And that's hard to do. I mean, this is something that we as Marvel fans and movie fans have had a pretty hot and cold relationship with Marvel about. Give us more movies, but wait, no, only give us quality movies, but I want a lot of them. But why do they suck if you're giving me 9 films a year? We've had this back and forth. Mm-hmm. I would so much rather them take their time and give me a really wonderful, polished script, especially after where we've left Peter Parker, just in shambles.
Right.
How do you bring him back, and how do you make him that kind of friendly neighborhood Spider-Man after he's gone intergalactic?
It's assumed now that his best friends and girlfriend have forgotten who he is.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with that. That's going to be the overarching, conundrum he's dealing with. But, it's not just about the villain. It's going to be about the hero and what he's struggling with.
And did they read this just as a couple, or is Zendaya actually going to be in this next film?
I would assume she's going to be,
right,
but probably not a huge role.
You're right.
In a lot of the reports, it continually says co-star.
Okay.
So I believe
then maybe
he'd still
so.
be in this.
Okay,
I would
good.
hope so.
Because they can't completely forget about him. I mean, we won't forget about Zendaya and Jacob or Ned.
No, love it.
Yeah, you can't just leave them behind
my gosh.
like that.
They're such great characters.
It's just it still has a Shang-Chi director behind it, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully they could find a script that works, because we need to get this thing going. Because Tom Holland, even though he seems very young, he needs to start working on this.
He is no longer really a Spider Boy. He is a Spider-Man, and they got to get cranking.
I do like the way he leaks things, not on purpose. It's such a childish part of him that makes him perfect for
pretty charming.
Peter Parker.
Yeah. I loved all those interviews where it was him and Benedict Cumberbatch, and Cumberbatch just losing his mind, being like, no, stop.
Yeah.
They were great. For you guys, though, when you hear stuff like this, with the whole idea of it having to fit into the bigger machine that is Marvel, does that make you feel more confident in what they're doing with this next phase? And I know John says that the phases are irrelevant, but for me, I think it helps with the structure of the universe.
Bookends it.
Yeah. So does that make you more confident in the way the phase is moving, or
I think it just points to the complexity of what they're dealing with.
Sure.
Because you're not just dealing with individual stories, then the individual stories have to fit in. And it's not just about fitting in, granted, it's about the logistics of an entire film operation coming together and completing and releasing at the right time. Yeah. I mean, that's nearly impossible. It's insane. It really helps me appreciate going back to even the first phase and the second phase of just how they've juggled all these storylines and individual film sets, post-production, marketing, getting it out there, getting ready for the next thing. It's crazy.
Oh, it's insane.
It took me so long to figure out from the comics, Marvel Comics, that everything was connected. Like, of course I saw the covers with Captain America, Thor, or whatever. But I didn't know it was super connected, as in, like, I've only found out when I started reading the Runaways, and they mentioned, those guys on the West Coast, this and that. And I was like, wait a second. Holy crap, everything's... I think it's such a task to make everything fit in every, like, let's say you have the best script, and then it has to go through this last thing of, does it fit with the whole universe, right?
Yeah.
So that's always a daunting task, and some things have to be cut just because it doesn't make sense. So I understand, I feel for the writers,
sure.
because not only do they have to write a good story, but they also have to make sure it fits within the confines of whatever else is going on. And sometimes these writers are just brought in because they're good writers. Maybe they might not know everything that's going on in the cinematic universe. So it's a daunting task. I believe we're going to have a couple of drafts.
Oh,
of
sure.
This. So
and we should.
Yeah.
We should have a couple drafts.
I know Blade has the most drafts.
Oh, they got a few drafts?
They've got... The Blade is the Mr. Irrelevant now of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, unfortunately, which is a bummer.
All right.
But my big takeaway from this story is, you guys used the phrase earlier, it is Herculean. And I think sometimes as fans, we think, well, why would it be so hard to make this movie? I know exactly how I'd make this. I'm such a huge fan. I know exactly what Spider-Man needs to do next.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, the execution of this is really important
start writing a
Sisyphean
script.
task.
It's a big
Well,
character.
that's not proper form for a script. Isn't
that fun?
Go set up the cameras. Oh, you don't know what camera or how to do that? What about lighting? Or what about maintaining like an entire crew? What about everything that takes place in this thing? It's almost impossible to make a movie. It stresses me out, and I'm not even involved because I know all the things that are involved.
Yeah. I just produced a couple shorts and I wanted to pull all my hair out. It's wild doing this stuff. But guys, let us know what you think. Do you think that what Tom Holland said here?
Tom Daya?
Tom Day, there we go. Do you think what Tom Holland said here is promising about the movie? Does it give you pause? Let us know how you're feeling about those statements in the comments below.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mando. Guys, I've got to tell you about something that changed my whole body care game. Mando Whole Body Deodorant. Now, I first heard about Mando last year when they offered to become a sponsor of the show, and I was honestly skeptical. I mean, a deodorant can't really control odor for 72 hours, can it? But after using it myself, I am a believer. You can use it anywhere on your body, and I mean anywhere. It's clinically proven to keep you smelling fresh for up to 72 hours without any irritation. I'm loving the Clover Wood scent, but they've got options like Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and even unscented if you prefer to go stealth mode. I like to use it after the shower, before the gym, or even important meetings. It's that reliable. And right now, Mando's got a killer deal. New customers get $5 off their best-selling starter pack with my exclusive code CAMPEA. That's over 40% off. Just go to shopmando, that's shopmando.com, and use the code CAMPEA. Seriously, guys, if you want a deodorant that's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, and just works better than anything else you've tried, it's time to make the switch to Mando. So don't wait. Control body odor anywhere with Mando. Head over to shopmando.com and use the code CAMPEA and get $5 off your starter pack. Trust me, you're going to love it. That's at shopmando.com. Go and check it out now. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.